You're all set. Please go ahead. And I'll make you and Lynn co-hosts, and if you need anything, I'll have my phone so you can text me.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Athena.
Okay, we're recording. So Freka, it's all yours.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure what the procedure is. There's usually a long speech that is given, but this is a meeting of the
Governance,
governance
Organization and
organization
and
and
legislation.
legislative.
so Counselor
committee.
Ette, you just need to call the meeting to order. You should say what time it is, confirm
Okay.
everybody can hear and be heard, and make sure you announce that the meeting is being recorded, and then you can get into it. Okay.
Good. Okay, so this is a JL meeting for July 8th, and we are starting at 6:34. Before we begin, I'd like to make sure that everyone can be heard. And to get that done, I'm going to call based on what I see on the screen. So I'm starting with President Lynn Grisham,
Present.
Councilor De Angelis,
Present?
Councilor Lord. And I'm present. So we have 4 members today with 1 absent. The meeting begins. We usually start with public comments,
There's one person in the audience.
and I see 1 person in the audience. Would
And
the audience member be interested in making a public comment at this time? Okay, then I think we can move on to what the agenda is for today. Lynn, do you have the agenda,
I will pull the agenda up.
please?
Just give me a second. I think it's best if I go here for it. Okay,
Would you make it a tad larger, Lynn?
I will do so.
Thank you very much.
Oops, that's a little too much. There.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. So the chair wasn't able to make today's meeting, and in conferring with the chair, we thought it would be appropriate not to have to discuss items 4 and 5, since there isn't any new material, and the direction of those conversations would be ones that would be led by the chair. And so we just tonight have to look at item 3, which is recommendation to fill committee vacancies, and that would be A and B for finance and also for charter review. I looked over at the CAF for finance, and recalling what we had from our previous conversation about the finance committee process, there were some items that were given to Councilor De Angelis to follow up with. So if you could just update us on the process, that would be helpful.
Thank you. There were 5 people who had submitted CAFs, and I sent out letters. Trying to follow up with that. Two of the candidates have withdrawn. Kim and
You can't mention names.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So two candidates were because of the time commitment, were not able to do it. We have three candidates who have submitted SOIs. And I've sent out an email that included the questions that we had used previously. And those could be amended if that has to happen tonight. And I also sent them, previously, when I said that we were wanted SOIs, I sent out the guidelines for SOIs and things like that. So they've had all that material, and they've gotten a notice that we're hoping to meet on July 15th at 6:30. I have not heard any of the three people who are saying anything about that time being inconvenient, but I don't. Its email can be slow because people are working on vacation. The candidates are interesting. All five of them were really quite interesting. One of the candidates who withdrew is going to be serving on the Housing Trust. And the other person just couldn't at this point take on the time commitment. As I said earlier, one candidate is trying to find out if the meetings happen at night. I've sent information that they meet on the first and third Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. So I don't know whether that's going to impact that application. If it does, it leaves us only two candidates. And while they're both good candidates, it's not clear that makes the pool really sufficient. So I'm not sure where to go with that. So that's kind of where I am with this stuff.
Thank you. So from what I have, there were 5 candidates, 2 withdrew. There's a possibility that one might give in time commitments, and that might leave 2, in which case, as good as those candidates may be, that isn't sufficient because there isn't an opportunity to choose.
Yeah.
Okay. Lynn?
And as I said, all 5 candidates have good experience and are interesting candidates on many
So
levels.
one of the options, even if we end up with only 2, is that we decide to fill 1 seat. So that we could go ahead with the interviews next Tuesday, but only fill 1 seat.
The only concern I still have, I'm sorry, is that one candidate has talked about applying for positions in town government, in being employed by the town. If that happens, they would not qualify anymore to be on the finance committee.
Right. And they'd
So-
have to drop off.
Yeah, so, but, so I don't know.
Right.
We had such a great pool. And we still have a really good pool. It's just gotten quite tight.
And I'm hoping that the third candidate will at least interview. The one reason why the group tends to meet during the day is because of staff. And
Yeah.
that's the reality is that other committees, as we know, including this one, meets at night. And another option might be it could be later afternoon, and maybe that still would work for the third
Yeah,
candidate.
and I don't know. I'm waiting for a reply on that.
Right.
I did have a question, actually, probably more of Athena. I certainly didn't send out a Zoom link. If we go ahead with the meeting, who sends that out to the candidates?
Either she can or she'll provide it to you.
Okay, thank you.
So, shall we look at the questions with the assumption that we're going ahead?
Sure.
Yes, we can look at the questions.
Okay, let me see. I guess I should try to go
Yeah,
find
and the
it.
document that I found in the packet was dated October 2021, I think. So
Ooh,
I don't, yeah, so
Oh, ooh.
And I just sent it out today. I should have waited, but I thought we had already made a decision. It can be fixed. I can just say, that I've made an error and here's the updated. There's plenty of time. If we change any of the questions or update them in any way, I can send that out tonight. And they still have until next Tuesday, a week from today, they'll have that information. So I don't think the question's gonna be that different, but it can be repaired.
Right, but we worked on these questions. And let me see if FinCom, here we go. I'm gonna pull them up.
Counselor Ette, I think, wants to speak.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I pulled up 2022, which is also old, and I do know that we have looked at this question. So, Lynn, if you found the
Newer.
new questions, then maybe that's something that we can put in the packets so that we'll have that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually believe we discussed these questions at a previous meeting. I'm going to try to find it, so just be patient with me. The one that I'm finding is in fact from 2022. I don't have any other updated one. So I think we should go ahead and look at this
Okay, that's,
and see what we want to do with it.
and a tad larger, Lynn, is that possible?
Yeah. Yeah, let me just,
If not, I can sort of lean in real close.
no, I'm gonna do this. Okay, I think I can do this. Don't worry. Just let me take a moment because it's not coming up as a Word document. And it has to be a Word document.
Yeah.
So,
And I will say that along with the SOI guidelines, I did send selection guidance to the candidates as well, so that they would know what we were looking for or how we will be evaluating.
I think I'm ready to do this. Sorry. Okay, now I can make it larger. Is that better, Pat?
It looks the same to me. I'm fine. I'll just lean in. I'm
Okay.
okay.
All right. So the first question, Councilor Arte, would you like me to go through the questions and ask? You're on mute.
Yes, please go through the questions.
Okay. The first one is based on the selection guidance. What do you feel you bring to the Finance Committee that can make it successful? Please include any experience you have with finance in general or the town's Finance Committee.
And that question is in the document I sent.
Right.
I think they look very much the same.
They probably are.
I'll do a double check. I'm gonna take a second and pull up.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments for this first one? I don't see any. So the second question, what is your understanding of the role of the Finance Committee?
Same question.
Okay. What is your understanding of the role of your role as a non-voting member? Okay. Tell us about an experience you have had collaborating with a group, particularly where opinions were in conflict or the decision was controversial. Councillor Ette.
I'm wondering if those are two questions in one. And I'd be interested in knowing from the committee which is more important. If it's more important to speak about collaborating with a group where opinions were in conflict, or collaborating with a group where at the end result the decision was controversial. Any thoughts?
So you want to make this a simpler question?
I think it could be simpler.
So would you just get rid of this part of it?
What does the,
And I will say this is the document that I sent everybody.
okay,
I don't, I think it, when you say, or the decision was controversial, it just gives a little more depth
yeah,
to thinking about it. So I don't have any problem with the question.
okay.
So please describe the considerations and objectives you'll use for considering financial matters and the budget when making recommendations to the council. What is your approach to incorporating public input into your decision making? What else would you like us to know about you that makes you a strong candidate for the Finance Committee? I think we should edit this one. Currently, the Finance Committee meets twice a month during the year. Generally during the day. Generally during the day. But when the budget season begins in April and May, meetings become much more frequent. It's really May, it's not April.
You know, it also, I mean, you guys used to meet at night. I don't know why the group then started meeting during the day, but finance used to meet at night.
It's
When
a
I was on
staff
and
issue.
stuff. Hmm?
It's a
It's a
staff.
staff issue, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I would like to suggest that I can also show this to you.
Currently, the finance committee meets twice a month during the year, generally during the day. But when the finance begins variation on the budget in May, meetings become more frequent. Can you confirm? Okay. I see what you're saying. Hala or Councillor Ette, Councillor Lord or Councillor Ette, whatever. There's part of me that wants to say, I already sent this out the way it was, but and I will resend it if you guys want me to. But this also might be the way we want it to be next time. But I'd like to hear from,
Councillor Lord.
I'm okay with keeping it how it is. I don't know if that's helpful.
Councillor Lord.
I'm sorry, can you not hear me?
It's a bit garbled, but we can hear you.
Don't have good service. Oh, I was saying I'm that part.
Were any of you able to hear what Councillor Lord said?
No.
no,
Okay.
Don't have good reception.
So the way I've edited this, maybe that will help, is currently the Finance Committee meets twice a month during the year, generally during the day. But when the Finance Committee begins deliberation on the budget, in May, this is not,
yeah, I see where you have it.
in May, meetings become more frequent. Can you confirm that you have the time to commit to this meeting schedule? Please answer yes or no and explain any considerations regarding your schedule. For instance, somebody may say, generally that's a problem, but generally that's a problem, but if I know far enough in advance, I can schedule it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right, but so currently the finance committee is 27th. It meets on the first and third.
Well, that can be changed.
Okay, well, that's what I sent Joe because that's what it says on the website.
Okay.
Currently the finance meets twice a month during the year, but when I would say during the year, the finance committee meets twice a month, generally during the day, but when the committee begins deliberation on the budget in May, meetings become more frequent. Does that feel better to anybody else, or am I just messing things up?
Well, the only thing we're losing is currently.
Yeah, but I want to know that people are okay with that.
There's no messing things up, Pat.
Give me a minute. Thank you, Councillor Ette.
So Councillor Lord has been able to get much better connectivity, and she is saying she gave us a thumbs up.
Okay. Now, so here's my question. If we agree to this change, it's the only change. Do you really want me to send the whole thing out to them?
Yeah. I mean, it's a modest change. It just gives us more.
Okay.
To
Okay.
me, it just gives them more. It also provides them with an opportunity to explain.
Yeah, they usually do that anyway, but okay, I hear you, and I will send this out and just say question 8 was revised slightly. So
So
because
Councillor Ette, you have your hand up.
I'm sorry.
No. Thank you. So yes, I think if it was a full change, then that would be an issue. But it seems that the only thing being changed is question 8, and it is indeed a modest change. So I think this could be sent to the candidates, making them aware. That's
Even though so you think it would be good to send the amended?
yes, we should
Okay.
send the
I can do that.
amended.
I can do that.
Barring having any other changes for the parts that are remaining, which deal more with the process. So the question for the committee, it would be 3 minutes is about enough time, given the candidates that we have. We aren't in a rush with time.
Right.
Do we prefer questions asked by each member of the committee or questions asked by the chair alone?
Generally, on CRC, I can't remember what we've done on GOL before, I'm sorry. But CRC, we rotate who asks the questions. So, but I don't mind either way. So if other people have strong opinions, I'd be certainly willing to accept a change.
Any thoughts on the question of whether we should go with one person leading or with different members as is done on CRC?
Can I also mention that on the night we do this, we already know that one counselor will not be there. And it's the chair. So Counselor Ette, I'm fine if you ask the questions.
Okay.
What I will offer to do is you'll notice in the next bullet, it says it changes random order. So I'll come up with a random order. Okay?
That would be quite helpful. Thank you. Okay, so we have adjusted the date. We've adjusted question 8. We have tweaked the part that deals with who gets to ask the questions. So are there any other changes we envision for questions before I seek a motion to adopt?
No.
Okay. So in that case, is there a motion to
I
admit?
move
Yeah.
to adopt the GOL interview questions for the Finance Committee application interviews as amended.
Is there a second?
Second, the Angelus. And Lynn, can you send me
Mhm.
a copy of this so I can
Absolutely.
get the email out to them tonight or early tomorrow morning?
Yeah. And I
Thank
think I'll send you a copy where I accept the changes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
Any discussion on this, or we move straight to a vote?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe we could move to a vote. Pat DeAngelis,
Aye.
Councillor Lord,
Aye.
President Grisman,
Aye. Sorry.
and then I'm aye. So it passes 4-4, none opposed, and 1 absent. Yes, Pat.
I finally remembered to raise my hand. I just wanted to apologize because I've been jumping in and not necessarily, shouldn't necessarily do it like that.
Thank you, Pat. So I guess at this point, you can move to the next agenda item. Lynn, could you put up the agenda again?
Yes. Give me a moment.
It's a charter review. There I go again.
Yeah. Done some, I have to go find it again. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. I'll increase it. Okay.
So this is, we are looking at whether we have a sufficient pool for the Charter Review Committee vacancy. I looked at the CAF and I saw only one candidate. I may be wrong, so if someone has a different number, that would be helpful. Yes, Pat.
I don't have a different number, but one of the candidates who's applying for finance, non-voting resident member, is also interested in the charter committee and has not put in her app or CAFs for that or anything yet.
Okay, that's helpful
Is it,
to know. Yes, Lynn?
is it one of the existing three?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. I can't figure out how to raise my hand and show the screen. All right, so I would like to suggest that we consult with the Charter Review Committee and the council and determine whether at this point in their process, they honestly feel it's useful to add another member.
that makes
Because
sense.
they're supposedly coming, down the road. I haven't had a chance to follow them lately. If it would be useful, I can check on that with the committee.
Thank you, Lynn. So would it be helpful if we check what would be more appropriate to check with? Should we start with the council or start with the charter review on if it's necessary to have a new member at this stage of the process?
We should probably check with the council, so it should go on the agenda for the 21st.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, Pat.
It seems to me that we need the information from the committee about whether they even want to bring somebody on now. And they may, because otherwise, if they say, no, we don't need anybody else, that's one thing to tell the council. And if they say, no, we could use more people, then that's a different thing to tell the council. So getting in touch with them first and then having it on the meeting on the 21st seems to me more viable or more logical.
Thank you, Pat. Any other comments on this? I also think it would be good to speak with the Charter Review Committee. Is this a discussion that would be asked of the entire committee or one that could be raised with the chair directly?
I don't know.
Trying to determine when they meet next. And I don't see a scheduled meeting, but I can ask that.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess in that case, we could put the process of filling the vacancy on hold until we get more information from first the charter review and then from the council, given the fact that with the process already going forward, if someone new comes in, there's a whole lot they need to catch up to speed on. And perhaps that might not be efficient either for that person or for the committee, but we'll wait to hear from charter review and council to know how to move forward at that.
Right.
Okay. Could we go back to the agenda?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah. I'd mentioned earlier that the annual review and the town manager evaluation process were items that, in communication with the chair, it was decided that it would be better to have the chair direct. And so we won't be discussing any of those items in this meeting. We could move forward to upcoming agenda items. Is there anything that the committee would like to put up for the coming meetings?
I have a question, that at the Commission for People with Disabilities meeting this morning, they've been looking at two proposed bills about masking that are coming forward. One has been submitted to the House and one has been submitted to the Senate. And I know Joe Comerford has signed on to one of them. I don't have a lot of information, but what they're interested in is having a letter of support from the council. So does that, what should I be preparing? Should I be preparing for GOL a resolution that we're supporting these things, or is this a letter, or? So I didn't really quite know how to answer.
there's two ways to do it. If it's a resolution, it comes to GOL.
Yeah,
If it's a letter, it just comes directly to the council.
gotcha. Okay.
And either way, it should come with a memo that basically cites the legislation and provides a link. And that way people know what the legislation is about.
And that's something that the commission can do directly. It doesn't have to come through me or anyone else on the council.
By the way, the commission can also send a letter
Yeah, and they will, but
directly.
yeah,
That does not have to go through the council.
right.
Okay.
Thank you, Lynn, and I will get back to them on that. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
A related question to that for something going forward would be, of those options, is any more effective in marshalling support for those who read it? I don't imagine, but whether it comes as a resolution or it comes as a letter, would those have equal weight?
I think either one is effective.
Okay.
It's really, the issue is making sure it gets there in a timely manner and goes directly to the chairs of those committees. And if there is a hearing, that somebody actually maybe shows up to the hearing.
Okay,
That's really helpful. Thank you.
thank you. Any other upcoming agenda items?
Well, we have several. I think the real issue we should discuss is whether, excuse me, is when we are having our next regular meeting.
You taking a vacation?
We don't discuss those things during meetings.
Okay. We could have that discussion. It's going to depend on what the process is for the interview for FinCom. And so if someone has a clear sense of what the next steps are, then we could.
So usually for FinCom or for any interviews, we try to vote that same night.
Okay.
And then that recommendation would come to the council on the 21st.
Yeah.
And it has to come with a report.
And we decided we would do the interviews on the 15th.
Right.
Yeah, and I really think it can be done in one evening because of the small pool of people.
Yes.
Okay, so we can have interviews on July 15th with the results available to the council for the 21st. If that happens, when is our next meeting supposed to be? After the 21st,
Oh, I see what you're asking.
what the regular meetings schedule is?
Let me get my calendar unless Lynn, I'll be right back.
I'm getting to that right now. Our next meeting for GOL, I believe, is the 22nd. I will not be available.
Okay. And the meeting after that would be 2 weeks after the
Right, so it
22nd.
would be August. Well, I don't even have it on my calendar, so I'm gonna have to go and look on our website.
Okay.
Well, the 22nd, it would have been the regular meeting.
And
And
what's the
and
next meeting
then
after
that
that?
would make August 5th, the next regular meeting.
Yeah, but let me check and see whether that is the way we scheduled it, okay?
Well, it looks to me like it's scheduled on the 12th of August.
Yeah. And
And then the 26th.
yeah, I can make the 12th.
So if I have this correctly, 22nd is supposed to be the regular meeting. And then after 22nd, the 12th is the next meeting. And
Yes.
so we could simply skip July 22nd and have a next meeting August 12th.
We could do that, yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
could. And
Is
that
there a
would-
particular reason why, because we're trying to skip the meeting? Is it because of needing an extra time for the interviews, or I'm just, what do we have on our plate, I guess? And it doesn't,
Several members of the committee won't be around for
okay, so
July
probably,
2nd. Yeah.
okay.
So, and if we meet on the 12th and we complete anything, there's sufficient time for it to go on the agenda, which is the 18th.
Okay.
And meantime, let me just mention that the things that I am aware of, two of them are already on the agenda. One is the town manager evaluation. The other one is rules of procedure.
Right,
But we also have the waste hauler is coming to us
Okay.
once it's gone through legal review. And then there's another item coming from CRC. And again, it's a legal review. So it's only if they're ready.
Okay.
so no meeting on July 22nd.
That's what
So-
I'm hearing.
I think we should make a motion to have actually, do we need a motion, or we could simply?
We should have a motion to cancel the meeting on July 22nd.
Good, okay.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We could take a vote on that. Councillor Lord,
Aye.
President Grisman,
Aye.
Councillor De Angelis,
Aye,
and I'm an aye as well.
unanimous.
it is unanimous that we don't want to have another meeting after we have the interview. So our next meeting is going to be on August 12th.
The only other item on the agenda is unanticipated items.
Okay. None that has come up to either the chair or myself.
Right. I don't know of anything either.
In that case, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. In this case, I am an aye. Councillor DeAngelis,
Aye.
President Grisman,
aye.
Councillor Lord,
Aye.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Ate. I'm sorry I jumped in so often.
Thank
You
you.
know me. Well, it's not,
And Pat, thank you
Thank
for
you all.
also working with our candidates, okay?
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you'll send me the updated sheet, Lynn.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Thank you all. Take care, Hala.
Thank you. It's
Take
good to
care,
see you all.
Councillor Lord.
Bye.